We now have two readings from Les Rorick and Kristina McCloskey, both of whom are a little newer to our congregation. So Les and Kristina, take it away.
Thank you very much. My name is Les Rorick. I use he, him pronouns. I grew up in Southern California, spent some time in Chicago and Virginia, and we found ourselves in St. Joseph because I work at Lake Michigan College in the theater department. Very happy to be here. I've been looking for a community, a spiritual community for some time, and really enjoyed the last few weeks of being here. Here's my short piece on grace. In the late 1990s, MasterCard released TV commercials with the tagline, "Some things in life are priceless. For everything else, there's MasterCard." I realized this week that I think of grace that way. Les, you're typically an honest, admirable, humble person, and when you're not, there's grace. Perhaps that's why for most of my life, I've hated grace, because I've thought about grace as debt. But you don't owe grace anything. It's unfathomably infinite. Grace is not a transaction, but a perspective. Grace is a way of being, a way of moving. Grace is like Aikido, a purely defensive martial art that uses centrifugal force to disarm their opponents. Someone tailgates me, I can work with that. They don't owe me anything. I can simply move aside and let them follow their bliss. When I let go of my grudge, I release my sorrow and make room for joy. Grace is improvisation's golden rule of yes and. Hey, George, I see you're wearing your spaceship suit to the grocery store. Yes, I just thought I'd pick up some fruit before the trip. Are you ready to go? The countdown is about to begin. Grace is like a mountain stream flowing into a lake that recycles the droplets back to the mountaintop through the water cycle. But I think my favorite, most vivid conception of grace is the movement of an inflatable air dancer. There's no regret, no remorse, not for past dance moves, no self-judgment. The inflatable air dancer teaches us that grace isn't serious business. It's silly business. Grace exists in that middle ground between being careless and being careful. Grace is carefree. It doesn't run out. It has no limit, and it doesn't ask to be paid back. It's just there for you, working with you, with a smile in its eyes and a silliness in its dance. So, Les, do your best. And for everything else,
there's grace.
Thank you.
Thank you, Les. That was very lovely, very creative. I like the inflatable air dance image. And actually, you do a pretty good imitation of inflatable air dance, too. So if you ever lose that job at the college, you know where you can go.
Thank you.
Kristina, would you bring us your piece?
Yes. So as an introduction, I'm Kristina McCloskey. I use she, her pronouns. And I have been really excited and feeling really fulfilled and thankful to have found this service, especially just because we've had conversations in the past where I've said that this is the kind of place that I've been looking for, a place where I was looking for a song and sharing and poetry and just really kind souls coming together. So I'm really thankful to be here. I'm a Navy brat, so my dad was in the Navy for 35 years, and we moved anywhere from Virginia to Hawaii to Italy, and even a brief time in Tennessee as well. So I'm used to adapting to new circumstances, and I am used to, even at times as a child, kind of adapting to the point that I would fit wherever I needed to fit. Especially as well, I'm coming from a family that had a special needs child, and I had my sibling with me for a while, and then she did pass away when she was 11. So with that in mind, I even was thinking about ways that I could fit or adapt when I was in my family as well. So in that circumstance, looking back, I realized that I kind of took it upon myself as the son and only child, whereas previously I hadn't been, that I kind of needed to take up space in a way that was being the ideal child, or, the best behaved, or even aiming for perfect, which is, an unfair thing to put on yourself, especially as a kid and then growing up into an adult as well. So with that in mind, I started realizing that later on in my life that I was putting that ideal in myself, and also that I was looking for respite. I was looking for grace, usually turning to art as a way to find it. So I turned to theater, again, used to adapting and figuring out which role I needed to play. Naturally, I went into the theatrical direction. And now it is a place that I find lessons. It's a place that I find moments to reflect, and ways that I can start to release and have grace and mercy on myself. Because as someone who is raised to always assume the best intent in others, and to, always be polite and be kind and to show mercy, I think it's important to remember that you should also reflect that upon yourself. I also want to congratulate Linda for having the same idea that I did. So she read a very beautiful Portia, and I often turn to theater and to art for inspiration. And I also looked at that monologue from Shakespeare. So I just want to kind of restate and reflect on that idea of grace and mercy as being rain that is dropping down on us. And so I kind of took that idea and used it as inspiration to sing a song. So this song was written by Elizabeth Renfro and Alex Mowney through Midsummer Flight, a company in Chicago that I've worked with, and it is used in a production of Twelfth Night. And then this is my rendition of it.
When that I was a little tiny girl with a hey ho, the wind and the rain, a foolish thing was but a toy for the rain. It raineth every day, every day. But when I came to man's estate with a hey ho, a wind and the rain, 'gainst knaves and thieves men shut their gate for the rain. It raineth every day, every day. But when I came at last to wed with a hey ho, the wind and the rain, by swaggering could I never thrive for the rain. It raineth every day. But when I came into my beds with a hey ho, the wind and the rain, with toss spots still had drunken heads for the rain. It raineth every day, every day. A great while ago the world began with a hey and a ho, the wind and the rain. But that's all on. Our play is done. will strive to please you every day. Every day